won the tie 2-1. We obliterated them by scoring 5-1 on aggregate. And the goal that we actually gave them was pretty much put on a plate to them, unfortunately, by a mistake that is quite rare by Saliba. So what do you make to the comments about this? Because I've seen this quite a lot. Oh, go and win it, otherwise it don't mean nothing. No. You're right. It doesn't mean we've won the Champions League, but we've gone through this tie where no one give us any hope in hell. We've got no Gabriel. We've got an 18-year-old left back, who, by the way, has been phenomenal. We've got a half-fit Saka, an underperforming Odegaard. Martinelli, who people have said have fallen off a cliff. We've got a midfielder that we bought in for £30 million. That's now our centre forward. Bro, the odds were against us, man.
The odds were against us, Dan, man. You said it there. Obviously, in terms of that, big up Ian, but that comment is what he's referring to. Is clearly coming from outsiders. They never want to give Arsenal their flowers. They're obviously going to say that. And unfortunately, things are too white and black in football. Of course, if we don't go and win the trophy, this is just another great day and a great night and whatnot. But we've also got to remember, like, a lot of these players and our manager, last year was their first time in the Champions League. They've learned their lessons from that, applied it and done very well. Of course, you want to go and win silverware and put something in the cabinet, but you can't say it doesn't mean anything. It shows us what we could do if we just make this a consistent basis. So I don't, like you said, Dan, people didn't give us a chance. Now all of a sudden Real Madrid are rubbish. Now if you win, it doesn't mean anything. I think most football fans, let alone your football club, when you get away from the laughing and the banter, you'll give Arsenal their plaudits for what they did in that 180 minutes. But it'd be harsh not to go and win it now, man, Dan. I'm sure everyone would agree, man, to do what we did against Madrid. And also where the Premier League is concerned, to batter Man City 5-1. We need to somehow create some history now, put something in the cabinet. But it is salty, Dan, man. It's mad salty.
It is. And rival fans will never give us any credit. And you know what?
Exactly.
I don't want them to, man. I don't want them to be fake. Do you know what I mean? I don't want them to come up and say,
who wants their credit anyways, man?
They're never going to, man. Like, the amount of people that still said after 3-0, I ain't giving them any credit, they ain't won it yet. And then when we go through, oh, well, it's a dusty Real Madrid side, what do you expect? Why did you not think we'd win then? It wasn't a dusty side when we drew them, yeah? It wasn't a dusty Real Madrid side that's finished, that's got a washed manager, that's got to be sacked now, that can't win a game. They've got a front three that can't connect with each other, rah.
Exactly.
Now, I never wasn't hearing this when we drew them. I wasn't hearing this in the kickoff to the first leg, and everyone was doing hate-alongs, going, "Oh my God, I can't wait for them to cook."
They thought they were feasting, man.
Bruv, this has been one of the best hate-alongs to watch, because for me, and I know these people very well, I know you do too, they're all watching it, rubbing their hands together. Oh, it's 3-0. Right. They'll if there's any team will do it, they'll bottle it. Let's do another hate-along. And all of a sudden we win that game as well, man. So look, they've got to hold that. They've got to seriously hold that as well. Because look, there's Arsenal fans that doubted we get through. I was one of them. I didn't think
I was pessimistic.
Real Madrid.
It's Real Madrid.
I was very pessimistic. It's Real Madrid. Nobody give us a chance.
Those credit where due.
I knew we'd get through. They're kind of lying, right? They're trying to be positive, and it's hoping I get it, and I admire it. And I wish I was a little bit more like that. But come on, man. I don't think anyone can deny what we've done across 2 legs there, bro.
Exactly, like you said, nobody can deny it. Like, even if you thought Arsenal would go through, there's probably like 1 or up to anything from 1 to 10 Arsenal fans out of the millions that support us that would have went for 3-0. Even if you did think we was going to win. And again, in a sense, this is why we love football. Football's illogical. Yeah, you could expect us to not necessarily get battered, to compete and everything. But you look at Real Madrid versus Arsenal, you can't begrudge people for not necessarily not giving Arsenal a chance, but thinking Madrid would win. And we flipped it on its head. You know, again, we're missing several key players, as you said. Madrid are in a poor run of form, but you look at their 11 and you look at ours, you have to give credit where due. And like you said, rival fans are salty. I would say for rival fans, and well, for Arsenal, we need to keep our feet on the ground, innit? But for rival fans, it's like a joke that's gone too far. Like, you didn't think Arsenal was going to be serious in the Champions League. We've dealt with PSV. We're obviously dealing with Real Madrid. I'm sure we'll get onto it, but we're going to speak about PSG. So yeah, it's like a joke for rival fans that is going too far, Dan. Like, we are 180 minutes better yet away from being in another final. And I want Barcelona, but again, feet on the ground. We need to deal with PSG first. But in conclusion, like, forget what the rival fans have to say. They're not going to rate us. Even if we were to go all the way and win the Champions League, what they're going to say, oh, it's the new competition with the league phase. It's taking you so long to do it. And then they're going to call us bottlers. So it is what it is, man. Let's just try. We've spoken about this before. For me, clearly the league's a write-off. Let's just get behind the team and everyone and see what we can do in Europe, man. And then if we win it, we win it. If not, back to the drawing board, innit? And suitable questions have to arrive.
Yeah, look, I've got to be real with you. I don't think many people had us going through, and now that we are there, I kind of can't quite believe that it was so comfortable across aggregate, if I'm honest with you, bruv.
Crazy, isn't it?
Man, it's unbelievable. Look, the scenes are insane out there. The scenes are brilliant where I was at Box Park. I've seen all the watch alongs. I've watched all the content, and that's what I do. I like watch a lot of content anyway. Of course, the people that I like and support and have supported my channel, but I look at how people are right now, and this is what we've wanted for so long, man, to get into a position where we can genuinely believe that we can go all of the way. And before we go into the actual game and the players itself, I want to ask you your thoughts on that. You know, I know it's one game at a time, and I appreciate it's one team to concentrate on now at PSG, but you kind of look at the other teams in it generally and think that this really is quite odds and even now. I don't believe there's a team that's out there that's definitely won this. I don't look at the moment and think that Inter Milan are easy to beat. Barcelona are scary going forward. We've just seen what PSG can do against Liverpool and Villa, against other English clubs that we struggled against personally in the Premier League. So this is going to be tough. But where are you at with these four teams, bro?
I think everybody's got a right to believe they can win it, man. I'd say for me personally, Inter's the one that I want to go out. Like, I think Barca and Inter are going to play each other. I want Inter to go out. I just feel the low blocks, the deep blocks, that's almost like a kryptonite for us. I think, you know, they play with two strikers, which isn't really a commonality in Europe. And I just think there's something about them, really, I've seen against Bayern. But we should believe we can compete against them. We went to the San Siro and it was a dodgy penalty. Obviously, for Arsenal, we might be the new kids on the block. This is new territory to our manager and these players. We ain't been at this stage since 2009, but we've put a statement out. Whatever people have to say, we dumped out Real Madrid. So I wouldn't say we're the favourites, but that could be defined as a favourite. We've all seen, and me and you have spoken about Barcelona generally. Like, Hansi Flick is playing great football. I don't think they were amazing in the second leg against Dortmund. Maybe a bit of complacency. I feel with that high line, it'd be an interesting one. PSG is the one that a lot of fans want to see us play because obviously we're going to play them, but we've played them before. We've beat them before. Enrique and Arteta are quite similar. It's quite systemic. Our wingers do a lot of tracking back defensively, and they're definitely going to need to do that against PSG. But everyone's a favourite in their own right. And for me, it's about seizing the present moment. Whether we expect it to be in this scenario or not is another thing. But we've got an opportunity here. And if you compete against PSG kind of with the same mindset that you did against Madrid, of course, no two games are the same. But there's a final there. And then, as you know, it's just a straight shootout. If you want it, bring it home. But I think like you said there, it's all fairly even. And to be fair, I don't want to say it's a new Champions League, but kind of a new Champions League in this format. It's quite good, isn't it, really? Four very good sides left.
Gotta be honest, I think the Champions League this year has been fantastic. And I'm not saying that just because I'm in the semi-final and my team's here and there. I want to say that I think the new format was definitely poo-pooed by myself and others because I was just like, what is this league table thing? What we're doing? This is just going to be a European Super League, and they're testing it.
I was missing it as well.
Of course, I loved it. I got to say, because I was looking at the league table, thinking, actually, last few years I've been in this competition, I've been looking at 3 teams, and that's it, just in my group. I don't care about the others yet until we face them in the last 16. All of a sudden, it's like, hang on a minute, there's a table of 8 here that we've really got to get into. I enjoyed that. Yeah, and do you know what, bruv? I think this season, fair play, hats off to us because we've done very well in that competition so far. Like, not just because we're at the semis. If you look at the group stages, I think we've only conceded a couple of goals. I think it's, 4 or 5 goals that we've conceded?
Been faultless in it.
It's been unbelievable. And I think we've got a great chance. I think PSG likewise have. I think the way Barca play is very dangerous. And I think the Inter Milan are very, very tough to beat. I'm with you about Milan. I think Inter Milan are being slept on. I think what Simone Inzaghi does there is make it very difficult for teams to break them down and beat them. Barcelona can be got out at the back, as can PSG, but you know going forward they're frightening.
Yeah.
It could be exciting, bro. It could be a really exciting tournament. But look, man, before we go too far ahead, I will ask you on PSG in a bit. We've got to look back, bro, because that performance was outstanding. I want to ask you to kind of name the players that impressed you on the pitch in the Arsenal side.
What, in the second leg or the first leg or in general?
Well, we'll go to the second leg because I think we touched on the first one on your channel. So we'll start with the recent. I mean, Declan Rice across both legs was outstanding, but certainly there's more than that in this second leg, man, that impressed me. But I'll let you go, man. What you say?
I mean, easy way to start. The 2 fullbacks, Miles Lewis-Skelly, amazing. Like it's almost boring talking about the 2 fullbacks. Miles Lewis-Skelly, you just keep doing what you're doing, and again, I say it all the time, but this man's been in our first team 8-9 months, and to see what he's done against Real Madrid twice now at the Bernabeu, even rattling the fans, dribbling past whole heap of players, keeping his nerves as well, even when Rudiger's stamping on his bollocks or his belly, whatever he's doing, how he got away with that, I don't know. What a player Jurriën Timber is, just a real 1v1 defensive monster, relishes it, doesn't give his wingers an inch. Don't really want to be talking about if he's the best in the world or any of this stuff, but I genuinely think 2 years, 3 years, we're going to have those conversations. For me, he's already at least in the top bracket of right-sided fullbacks in the world. You can't really name a stronger 1v1 fullback than Timber. He's obviously doing well post-ACL. You've got to big up Kivior because if, the Saliba mistake, Saliba was good as well. Obviously, he dropped a clanger and all of that, but he was great. If anybody expected that sort of mistake, it would have been probably from Kivior. Kivior has stood tall. What else have we got? Mikel Merino did his thing, got a couple of assists, obviously, against Madrid. I have to big him up. Declan Rice is Declan Rice. I know we spoke about the first leg, but I preferred the performance in the second leg. Obviously, he scored them 2 great free kicks, but I think this was more professional. And he's 1 minute he's in their half, and then he's mopping up. He's just doing what he's doing, even when he's telling Partey to chill out. Thomas Partey, big him up as well. Of course, the only dampener on his performance is his heart was in the right place because Rudiger's being a bit of an idiot. I think he reacted, but he's now out the PSG game. So shout out to him. Martinelli for helping Lewis Skelly and obviously getting the goal as well. And Martinelli's been in line with a lot of criticism. Bukayo Saka. For me, I've seen a mentality shift in Bukayo Saka now. What I mean by that is it's like he believes, it's not that he doesn't have self-belief, but it's like, yeah, I'm here now. I don't care about Rodrigo and Vinicius and all these guys and whatnot. I'm in the same bracket as them. And I know it's a bit of a fun and joke and whatnot, but I like the audacity from him to try and Panenka that penalty. Of course, in other scenarios, can we hit that properly? But to not cry about it and just to keep going, Saka is Saka. Who else is there? I think that's, Odegaard did better in the second half, but it's kind of the same old about Odegaard. I don't want to create a pylon because it was a good team performance, but yeah, man, I guess everybody did their thing, man. I'll be real. I think everybody deserves their flowers, man. But if I had to highlight something, it'd be the 2 fullbacks and obviously Declan Rice, and mainly because he's out of position. We've become accustomed to seeing centre mids play up front, but Mikel Merino did his thing, man, without a doubt. Good performance, man.
Let me come into that a bit more because for me, I want to start with Mikel Merino. And I'm glad you mentioned him and ended on him because when I heard he was going up front, I was devastated. And it wasn't because I'd seen him play there and knew he was trash. It was nothing like that. I've never seen him play there. It was because I was like, really? We're not going to buy a January.
You just want a normal striker.
Get this guy in and put him up top when he's supposed to be coming in midfield. Right. Let me say this. And I said it last night. And I truly mean it when I say this. I think he's better than Kai Havertz for us up top. Now, I'll tell you why I think that. It's not because I hate on Kai, because I actually think there's a place for Kai Havertz at Arsenal in the squad, right? I honestly believe what Merino brings to us is actually a lot more. Now, I think that he has better finishing ability. I think he's better aerially. I think he's just as good physically. I think he works just as hard. I think he, in terms of the stats, looks just as good as Kai if you look at a 10-11 game period. I think it's 6 goals, 2 assists the other night. I've been really impressed with Mikel Merino, man. And I'm not saying keep him up top. I'm not saying we don't need a striker. We definitely do, right? However, I think he's gone under the radar and been kind of underappreciated how well he's done in that role, DG. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, bro.
100%, man. And the first thing I would say is I'm happy for Merino because obviously there's been a lot of hyper opinions about Merino since he signed for the club. He's been injured and he's given a good go of it up front now. He's looked above all. He's got confidence, like he's doing his thing. He's clearly getting trust in himself and his teammates. It's always nice to score and assist and win games. He's doing his thing really. Now, it's interesting you mentioned Kai Havertz because I think I speak for you and every Arsenal fan. Like, cool, if we need them to deputize up front, great. But can we just sign a striker? I do think like you said, I do think we need a role for Havertz. But I would say the thing that I think separates Merino and Kai is Merino's just more cultured on the ball. He's got a bit more about him technically and things like that. So it does raise in question, did we overrate? And I'm not trying to pile on Kai because he's done it for a longer period of time and all of those things. But did people overestimate Kai Havertz's contributions up front? And what sort of striker does Mikel Arteta need? Because we've seen Kai play up front. We've seen Merino play up front. We've seen Eddie. We've seen Jesus. None of them could be defined as clinical, but they can all, quote unquote, do the other bits and pieces. I'm happy for Merino. And at this day and age, Dan, as you know, when you've got injuries and where we've been in the Prem, any player that wants to turn it on and be in form, we need to ride that momentum until the wheels fall off. So long may it continue for Merino, man. And it's nice for him because his career at Arsenal did not start well. So long may it continue. And I agree with you about the finishing. I always think about the Leicester finish. I don't think Kai Havertz scores that, whatever one it was, where it's come on his right peg and he's finished that. I don't think he scores the one against Madrid at the Emirates. But big up Merino, man. We need that.
Facts.
He might even
Facts.
play midfield against PSG, but I know we'll get onto it.
Like, if I'm honest, bro, I think the finish against Real Madrid is underappreciated. And I
Underrated.
don't think people, if I'm honest with you, understand how important that goal was, particularly going to the Bernabeu. And I know that we scored first and it was incredible and the penalty decisions will come on to, but for me, that third goal made it even more comfortable going to the
Let us
Bernabeu. And we
relax.
know how crazy it is at the Bernabeu, right? So he deserves credit big time. The other player I wanted to mention was our star boy, because obviously it was a penalty, then it was the goal. It was kind of make up for the miss. His performance was outstanding. And he's come back from a hamstring injury, and people were questioning whether he was fit enough, what it was going to be like. Is it going to be the same Saka? I think he's come back unbelievably strong. What did you make of the penalty that you didn't kind of mention it? Was you disappointed? And what did you make of his finish, man?
I mean, on another day, Bukayo Saka, I'd be livid, just hit it properly. But I do like the confidence in it to try and do the Penenka thing. As he kind of said, if it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't, you're a bit of an idiot. And it's nice to have a laugh and a joke, because there's another reality where Saliba makes his mistake, Saka misses his penalty, and we don't finish our chances or our dinner in the first leg, and we might be looking at it differently. I like the fact with Saka, because I think there's been a mentality shift with Saka in that he's always had self-confidence, clearly, but it's like, I believe that I am the talisman. I can kind of do what I want in the most humblest way. Had a great game. He could have felt sorry for himself. He won fouls. He got up whenever they kicked him. Obviously, he scored a dink at the Bernabeu, and it was reminiscent between him and Martinelli. Saka's amazing, and like you said there, like, the man's, I couldn't tell you his fitness level, but he doesn't. I wouldn't say he's fully fit. This is an all-timer of a season from Bukayo Saka. He started the season well, obviously missed out for 3 months. He's back like he's never left. Like, true, nothing but praise for Bukayo Saka. Seriously, man. Like, very good player, very good season. And again, a lot of us were scared about the hamstring and whatnot. And God forbid there's no setbacks, but when we've seen like Tomiyasu or Jesus rush back, we've drew them out and whatnot. So we have to give the club credit. Whatever they've done to keep Saka fit and get him prepared for this Madrid game, he's done it very well, man. Like, credit to Bukayo. But we're used to this. And do you know what I like with it? Sorry to cut you, Dan. I know I spoke about rival fans. They finally just have to shut up and acknowledge that Saka is world class. I know you saw Rio Ferdinand's comments. You just have to accept it now.
Bruv, there's so many rivals that are giving this guy stick, and I do not understand it and never have. You can't not love Bukayo Saka as a person. You can't not appreciate him as a footballer. I don't care if people aren't saying he's the best right winger in the world, but I don't know why people have disrespected him to say that he's not at least the best 5 top 3 in his position in world football.
100%.
Honestly, I just don't get it, fam. So that's where I'm at. Look, I was devastated with the penalty and the way that he took it, because it was out of character. He's normally one that just makes sure of it. If you miss it, you saved it, you hit the post, you hit it wide, fair play. But for me, as disappointed as it would be to miss it at any point, when you're trying to be cocky like that and arrogant, I kind of like it and appreciate that he's got belief in himself, but you have to score that. You have to put it down the middle. You can't go wide, not against Courtois. And unfortunately, his head went down and thought, what have I done? But his head didn't stay down for long, because that finish was outstanding, by the way. Merino's ball is underappreciated. It's absolutely superb weight of pass. And the little dink and the confidence for him to do that off the back of missing a penalty, fair play, man. I think he deserves all the plaudits. I think he's been outstanding. And if we are going to go on and win this, we're going to need him fully fit, mate, because he's been outstanding. But I wanted to take you over the other side, because one player that's got a lot of stick and has kind of dropped off his form in the last, 18 months is Martinelli. And you know what, brother? I've been so impressed with him of late. And that performance the other night was one of my most pleasing, because he was direct. He was taking on his man. He was not doing anything silly. Everything that we did going forward was a threat. And his goal and that finish was cold, bruv.
Absolutely top class, Dan, man. Absolutely. And I mean, Martinelli needs it. In the last 3-4 games, I don't want to say he's turned his form around, because, the last couple of years and this season in particular, it's been start-stop for Martinelli. Obviously, he's been injured. Lovely to see, man. Martinelli in open space on the transition. How many times has he scored those type of goals where he makes that run from his own half and then obviously does what he needed to do? He had a great performance. He put in a defensive shift. I don't think Martinelli is, the bee's knees and amazing and whatnot, but he is. I do think his mentality is there. I do think he's on the big games, and you can tell he's got a fantastic attitude. He never stops working. As someone put in the chat there, he nutmegged Hendrick. He was doing some skills on the left hand side. It's nice to see him growing in confidence, man. Like, big up Martinelli, man. Like, I just still think we need a left winger, but it's nice to see it, man. Nice to see it. What's that? 3-4 games now, give or take, with the Brentford one. He's done all right.
Bro, I've been trying to remain positive for Martinelli. I don't want to go down I don't want to be that guy who says, "Yeah, I think it is time now to move him on." I've never wanted to be that guy, and you know what? I am quite honest with players, even if I like them. Kieran Tierney, I like Kieran Tierney. I've always
Same.
liked Kieran Tierney. I appreciate he's got to be moved on. I appreciate he's potentially going to have to be moved on and revive his career. I don't want to say the same about Martinelli because I see so much talent there. I don't think he's developed into the player that I kind of wanted him to.
Same.
But if I'm honest with you, I really need to see these consistent performances now, because this is reminding me of the form that we saw when Martinelli first burst onto the scene. That finish was very similar to the likes of those goals that he scored against Chelsea when he was dribbling past everybody. The goal that he
Villa
scored
a couple years ago.
couple years ago as Villa. These are the sort of goals I recognise with Martinelli, and I really want to see this guy blossom again, because it looks like Trossard might not have a long-term future here, even if he does stay. He's in his 30s now. Martinelli, I know people might want an upgrade, and I'm not against having an upgrade and some competition for him, but I do think there's a place for him in this squad, man. So I'm glad that we are appreciating his performance, because I thought he was great. And to be honest with you, DG, I thought he was good in the first leg as well, man.
Yeah,
I thought he was great. So look, that front three deserved a massive amount of credit over that across that 2 legs, but particularly at the Bernabeu, because it's very different playing there than the Emirates. So I'm glad that we give them their credit, man. But let me come down a little bit to Odegaard's performance, because as much as I didn't think he was a shambles like some are saying, thought he improved in the second half. Do you know what it is with him, bruv? It's not even the captaincy and the leadership stuff that I'm interested in too much. Like, I personally prefer Gabriel and Rice, but I'm not going to go down that road because he ain't going to get stripped to the captaincy.
You just want to see more.
Arteta. I want to see more. His decision-making has been bad. Yeah, when it's time to shoot, when it's time to pass, he's getting them the wrong way round. And if I'm honest with you, people are saying that he gave up on the penalty. I've seen him do that a few times. I don't think he did give up on the penalty. I think it was always going to be Saka. He normally is our penalty taker when he's on the pitch. And I think he tried to confuse. But I kind of, part of me in my head thinks, you're the captain, you're wearing the armband. This is your old club. You're in front of the fans that give it to you and all of us. Go put that penalty away and kill the game off. So I don't know where you're at with Odegaard in terms of his captaincy, leadership qualities and his performances, because for me, I need to see more, bruv.
I'm with you, man. And I don't want to go down the captaincy route, but it's like, for obvious reasons, we can see why Declan Rice is of the captain mentality. I'm sure you've seen on Twitter all the clips when we were walking out for the warm-up and Declan Rice is saying, don't be scared, and Odegaard isn't saying anything. I just want to see Odegaard. I do think it's one of those where people are bringing valid claims, but like their frustrations into that game that they've had with Odegaard already, type of thing. I think he was better than he was in the first leg. I think he was much better in the second half. I don't know if he gave up the penalty. I'm like you. I more think it was to confuse, but he's having a rotten season, and I just think it's one where I'm not going to give up on him, but you need to get your form for next season, really, and try and do what you can this year. I just think it kind of is what it is. I kind of had the hope that he would be someone that would do well against Real Madrid. But yeah, it's like the only thing I would say is he actually put power in an effort that he had in front of goal with his right peg. But like you said there, he's passing generally his time in this season. He's passing backwards. You know, he's doing those scooped passes that he can do with his eyes closed, but there's too much. He's either overhitting or underhitting. He's second guessing himself. He did play a key role in, if I can remember correctly, Saka's goal, and he did do well in that regards. But it's one where, you know, like it obviously is a good team performance, Dan, and we've done well in the 2 games. But if we were to pick apart some players, and some of it is circumstantial because of injuries, but we would say Lewis Skelly, you'd say Kivior, you'd say Partey, you'd say Rice, you'd give Merino his credit, you'd talk about Martinelli, give or take, you'd obviously talk about half-fit Saka and whatnot. And the player that need to have had that kind of game or the fallout talking points would have been Odegaard. I know Odegaard's a quality player, but at this moment in time, you're probably only in the team generally because of what you do off the ball. It's not necessarily on it, but we need our captain. And he does, for Dan, it looks like one for me where, you know, when your confidence looks so shot that if you just get one goal, it comes off your rear. I'm not saying he'll be amazing, but I think there'll be a dramatic improvement. But it's rotten luck for Odegaard, and you're gonna have to turn it. You're gonna have to turn it around, because I don't want to see Odegaard kind of have, like, unfortunately, like a Martinelli year or two where we're talking about the 2022-23 season, because we need to get back to it, man. It's a shame though, man. He's a good player.
He is a good player. I kind of agree with what Shane's saying here, though. Big up to Shane, man. Make sure you're following my guy Shane Gooner on his
Good
channel,
point.
bro. He said it's not one bad season for Odegaard. It's the other way around. He says the only season he's really had is the 2022-23 season. Now, let me come into more context of this because I kind of feel like I've been done over a bit here because when we signed him, I thought he would look like a very promising player. But when we were looking at that kind of attack-minded midfielder, James Maddison at Leicester was my option because he was absolutely balling out. Now, I know at Tottenham it's not worked out great, but that's his fault for going there, right? For me, when you look at Leicester, his stats were unreal. I think it was between 18 to 20 goals and assists in like 3 or 4 seasons that he was there. To be fair, at Tottenham, he's actually scored some goals and assists as well, but not at that level. And then Odegaard, I